fight tonight.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Jade up here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do for my builds. What we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at 4 different build setups. Down in the description down below, there'll be timestamps, so you can click whichever one and immediately get brought to that build that you want to look at. If you're going to look at the build or the video from start to finish, that's totally up to you. Again, whatever, right? Everything will be down in the description down below. Make sure that if you ask in the comment section, I'm just going to tell you to look at the description. So first things first, we're going to look at the build. So we're going to be looking at the build, what gear we're running, what enchants and traits I would like, and what I have. And then we're also going to be looking at the Mundstone, the food I'm using, the pots I'm using, and the CP is going to be at the very end of the video, along with what skills to basically run. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So now we're going to look at the no dying setup. Now this setup is basically to keep you alive. It's probably the most selfish setup I have in the game. It's absolutely insane. All right, so let's go ahead and buff up. We got our major resolve. We took our pot. We're looking at 22k max magicka, 1300 mag recovery, 1300 health recovery, 40k health, 22k stamina. We're still looking at 33k physical and spell resistance. That's actually really good, and that's quite a bit. Just with major resolve, we don't even have minor resolve there. So let's go ahead and jump right into the gear. Actually, you know what? Let's look at the Mundstone. We're using the Lord. We have Bewitched Sugar Skull. We have 13, 37, 14 as far as our attributes go. All right, now let's look at the gear. We have Engine Guardian. Engine Guardian is just really good. 25% chance when you activate an ability to get one of these spears to spawn. And this thing is absolutely insane. It gives you so many resources back. It's absolutely crazy. That's what it looks like. All right, so that's Engine Guardian. It comes, excuse me, I don't know why I'm just kind of burping there. Engine Guardian comes from Darkshade Caverns. 2 comes from Darkshade Caverns 2. Just make sure you do it on vet. I'll go over the enchants of what I want on the body for after I go over the body gear. So we're looking at the first set, which is Leeching. Again, this is a build video that I did not too long ago that a lot of people have been enjoying, and they really, really love this build, actually. So the first 5 piece is Leeching. This comes from Imperial City Prison. If you don't have it, you can pick it up. I think it's actually free in the DLC. Imperial City Prison. Yeah, it's actually free, so you can pick that up free. And that's where that comes from. Let me just show you where it's at. So it's going to come from here. Make sure that if you have these key fragments, if you get these key fragments, which you do from going into Imperial City Prison or White Gold Tower, you get these key fragments. You can use those key fragments as soon as you walk into ICP or White Gold Tower. Immediately look to your right and head that way, and there will be a door there. You use the key fragments. They get exchanged for keys once you hit that door, and you'll be good to go. So you can get it that way, or you can just farm the sets in the dungeon. So what Leeching does, whenever you take damage as a tank, you're always taking damage. You summon a cloud around some adds that deal about 1400 poison damage every 1 second for 5 seconds. And then you get healed for the amount of damage that it causes. And then 1 cloud can be present once every 5 seconds. So basically, there is no cooldown to this. This is basically you take damage whenever the cloud's done. You know, basically a second later, it's spawning again on somebody else. It's absolutely insane. So you, whenever this thing procs, it's absolutely insane. So yeah, this is a really good setup. I see this getting nerfed in the near future. I don't see it getting nerfed yet, but who knows. As far as like the body pieces, what I would like infused on your big pieces. Your big pieces are your head, chest, legs, and shield. I would personally like infused on those with Tri-Stat enchants on those, which gives you health, magicka, and stamina. As far as the small pieces, I personally like sturdy and well fitted. If you block a lot, get sturdy. If you don't block a lot, do well fitted. If you kind of want to mix it up, you can do 2 sturdy, 2 well fitted. Other traits that are good, infused, reinforced, I wouldn't worry about anything else after that. As far as the second piece, we have Briar's Curse. Briar's Curse actually got buffed this patch. It only did like 600 or 900 magic damage every 1 second. But now they buffed it to about 1200 magic damage. Now this does the exact same thing as leeching, except whenever you deal damage. So you have to deal damage with Briar's, and then you have to take damage with leeching. So you take damage with leeching, it spawns the poison. Poison does damage, spawns Briar's Curse. They work. Briar's Curse works off of leeching really well. So whenever Briar's Curse procs, it has a 25% chance to, which is quite high, and it will do damage, and then you heal for that much damage. And again, this is once every 5 seconds. And again, this Briar's Curse lasts 5 seconds. So again, they're both the same. One's magicka, one's poison. You combine them together, bam. Good to go. Briar's Curse you can buy from guild traders, from other players. I highly recommend to do that. Gold jewelry you will have to upgrade yourself. The way that these work, if you want to buff the damage, you have to buff either Mighty or Elemental Expert to buff that, or you have to buff your physical, your weapon, and your spell damage, and you can buff it by doing Mighty for poison damage and Elemental Expert for Briar's Curse. That will buff the damage of these two. The chat, again, I keep all these arcane. Totally up to you if you want to change them or not. I choose not to because geodes are pain in the ass to get sometimes. And then I keep mag recovery on pretty much here. If you block a lot, do shield play, which is, let me type in Alcosh so you can see which that one is. Which is the, where is it? There it is. Reduce block cost by 203. So you can either put that enchant on there, or you can do like your speed pot, mag recovery. There's your speed pot there. Reduce your pots by 5 seconds. Reduce magicka cost. Reduce stamina cost. Whatever you want to do. It's totally up to you as far as enchants go. The shield we have infused. Haven't got around to putting a Tri-Stat enchant on there. I accidentally put a stamina enchant on there, and so I've just been kind of liking that 22k stam with the 22k mag. So it's pretty nice. But I have infused here, infused, sturdy. The 4 traits, infused, sturdy, well fitted, or reinforced. All 4 of those are really good. I wouldn't say really good, but they're good compared to tanking. As far as the one-handed weapon go, keep in mind that Nirnhone will buff Briar's and Leeching's damage only a little bit. Powered will not increase the healing you get from Briar's Curse and Leeching. Powered will not increase the healing from Briar's Curse and Leeching. Nirnhone will. I've spent forever testing that out, and just the sets in general. The traits that I would want on a one-handed weapon for like dungeons and stuff would be defending, decisive, powered. That's pretty much it. Or Nirnhone. For the setup, if you want to swap it to Nirnhone, you can, but it's very small. So like defending, decisive, or powered, it works really well. Powered works really good for these setups, or for those abilities. Works really well. As far as enchant on there, you can do your traditional weakening and then crusher on the back bar. totally up to you. If you're doing Pug at Veteran Dungeons, or your group just kind of is not that great, and you can't maintain Stam or Mag, throw your Stam or Mag Drain Poison or Drain Enchant on here. You know, that's way cheaper than doing poisons. So throw like your Drain Stamina on your front bar. If you suck at maintaining stamina, do Stamina Drain on your front bar. You suck at maintaining Magicka, Drain Magic on your front bar. That way, every time you light and heavy attack, that'll proc that enchant, so you can get some Mag and Stam for that little bit. Back bar, we have Precise, but we would like Infuse just to kind of buff that Crusher enchant. All right. So that's the setup. Hope you guys enjoyed that setup. The only thing that I changed on that was the Engine Guardian. I did use Stonekeepers. Again, if you block a lot, Stonekeeper, Sturdy, stuff like that. If you don't block a lot, Engine Guardian 100% of the time. These are builds that if you're pugging Veteran Dungeons and stuff like that, and you're just getting kind of racked a little bit, these sets will 100% help you out. All right, let's go ahead and look at the next set. Okay, so now we're looking at the other set, which this one is going to be the defensive buff set, or the combination of sets that I have here. Right now I'm just putting in the attributes here, which was 37. I think we did 20 here. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Okay, 21, and then the rest were in here, 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and buff up again. Take our pot, hit I. We're looking at 19k Magicka, 1600 Mag Recovery, 38k Health, 1300 Health Recovery, 20k Stam. This pull is actually really good. We're at 31k Physical and Spell Resistance, which actually is pretty good too. We're right there in the medium there. Our first setup, or actually, let's look at what you already seen our attributes. But we are running the Lord, we are running Bewitched Sugar Skulls, and we are using Tri-Stat pods. Alright, again, this setup is the defensive buff setup, or combination of gears. We are running Engine Guardian. Again, this is for your pug dungeons, or just dungeons in general, where you just kind of want to be a little bit more defensive, right? So we have Engine Guardian here, 25% chance to proc. It works amazingly. Again, if you don't block a lot, this Engine Guardian is 100% your friend. If you do block a lot, go Stonekeepers. If you want to help the group out a little bit more, go Symphony of Blades. We are running. I will go over the traits and enchants after I complete one set. So once I do the armor set, I'll go over what enchants and traits I want. Once I do the jewelry, I'll go over the enchants and traits that I want there, and the same thing with weapons. That's how I'm going to be doing this. So the first setup we have is automated. Automative comes from Veteran Hoff. Excuse me. Engine Guardian comes from Darkshade Caverns 1. So automated comes from Hoff. It comes from normal or vet. And basically what this does is whenever you pop an ultimate, whoever is in your group, up to 5 members, up to 28 meters, 5 group members, whoever's closest to you, will gain major Aegis for every 1 second per 14 ultimates spent. This reduces the damage they take from dungeons, trials, and arena monsters by 15%. Now I'm going to hit you with a little bit of numbers here. When you pop an ultimate at 500 ultimate, you're looking at 35 seconds, roughly, give or take a second. Now these are all give or take a second. 500 ultimate, you're looking at 35 seconds of major Aegis. That's huge. 400 ultimate, you're looking at 28 seconds. 300 ultimate, you're looking at 21 seconds. 250, 18 seconds. 200, 15 seconds. Absolutely insane. It buffs it helps your group up a lot. It makes them just a little bit more tankier. As far as the traits go, I would like my big pieces, which are my head, chest, legs, and shield. I like those infused with tri-stat enchants on them. Again, I don't have a shit ton of geodes, so it takes a little bit of time to build those up to kind of, help, transmute those, right? So to change those traits. As far as enchants and traits, so yeah, infuse and then tri-stat, even on the shield. If you block a lot, put sturdy on your small pieces. If you don't block a lot, you can do well fitted, because if you're not blocking, you're dodge rolling quite a bit, or at least a little bit, and you can throw well fitted there. But if you do a little bit of both, do 2 sturdy, 2 well fitted. The 4 major traits that are really good would be sturdy, well fitted, infuse, and then reinforce. Those 4 are really, really good for tanks. As far as the jewelry goes, we have Jorvolds, which Jorvolds is actually really good. Whenever you, this is all going to be on our back bar, by the way. Increase what this does is it increases the duration of all your major buffs, minor buffs, and damage shields you apply to yourself and allies by 40%. And since Major Aegis is a major buff that you are applying to yourself and your group members, that is going to buff it by 40%. So it increases the timer of it. So if you're looking, I've only done this for the 500 ultimate. So if you're looking at popping this at 500 ultimate on your back bar with Jorvolds, you're looking at 48 seconds of Major Aegis. That's absolutely freaking insane. So, as far as the jewelry goes, I'll show you a clip probably somewhere in here. Maybe at the end of this build right here, or maybe in between it. I'll show you somewhere, and I'll just show you the clip of it procking. But anyways, as far as jewelry goes, I keep everything the same. Arcane, all mag, recovery. If you want to change that, it's totally up to you. Triune, infused, robust, whatever you would like to use. Totally up to you. I just keep everything pretty much the same. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water. Excuse me. Okay, so lightning staff, back bar, or ice staff, totally up to you. If you have stam in your group, or if you have people running the exporter passive, and here, 75 points in the here, you'll definitely want to run the lightning staff. Totally up to you, lightning staff or ice staff. I forgot to mention that in my previous builds. Totally up to you, whichever one you want to run. Infused, really good for enchant. Again, crush is really good. Weakening is really good. Just kind of depends on what enchant you want to run. Now the front bar is what makes you just that much more tanky, and on top of just like ridiculous tank, like you're just ridiculous tanky. We're looking at the Master's Sword and Board Perfected. This 2-piece gives you 3% healing taken, and then the 2-piece, what it does is whenever you puncture, pierce armor, ransack, you heal for 7,000 health and gain a spell and physical resistance equal to the amount you got healed or over healed for 5 seconds. So if you're already at full health, you puncture, you heal, you get that much physical and spell resistance. Again, I'll show you the clip after this little spiel, I think, because I went over it and I just didn't. I may just do that. But yeah, it's absolutely insane. Now again, this says 7,300 7,300 health. This actually consistently can heal for like 9k, and then it can actually crit heal sometimes, which is pretty crazy. I've seen it crit heal for like 12, 11k sometimes. I think there was a couple times during the PTS when I streamed it. I think it actually hit for like 15k or something like it. Anyways, it's insane. So just keep your eye out for the Master's Perfected Sword and Board. It's actually really good. I reinforce, well fitted, sturdy, you know, infuse on your shield. That's what I like. As far as your one-handed power, it's actually really good because it's going to increase your heals there. But it's actually a really good idea. Power, decisive, defending, either one of those. As far as enchant goes, again, if you suck at maintaining magicka, do a magicka still enchant. If you suck at maintaining stam, do a stamina still enchant. Again, these are dungeon type builds, so 100% just mess with it however you see fit. It's all about you surviving and maintaining your resources. All right, let's go ahead and swap to the other build, which is going to be the defensive and heal buff set. This setup is nasty. All right, so now we're looking at the which one are we looking at? This one is the defensive and healing buff. Now this setup is absolutely crazy. It is crazy good. All right, so we just put all our points in there. We're at 37 health, 27 stamina. Let's go ahead and buff up. Did I not? Oh, I didn't hit the point. All right, so we're at 19k magicka, 1500 mag recovery, 37k health, 1300 health recovery, 20k stamina. We're looking at 31k physical and spell resistance on the lower side of the 31k, which is still pretty good. The first set we're looking at, or actually go back over here, we are running the Lord. We do have Bewitched Sugar Skulls with Tri-Stat enchant or Tri-Stat pots on. All right, so first set is the monster set. Again, I'll go over the enchants and the traits that I want per section: armor, jewelry, and then weapons, each individual after I explain what I'm running. So Engine Guardian, again, if you want to help your group out, run Symphony of Blades or something like that. If you block a lot, run Stonekeepers. If you do not block a lot, run Engine Guardian. It will 100% be your friend. And that's what I have here, Engine Guardian, because I don't block a lot. The first set is Automated Defense. This set, if you watched the whole video before, you can see that this set, whenever you pop an ultimate, whoever are the closest 5 members within 28 meters gain Major Aegis for 1 second per 14 ultimates spent, reducing your damage taken from dungeon, trials, and arena monsters. Let me get a drink of water. All right. Sorry about that. Just throat's going kind of dry. But anyway, so whenever you pop an ultimate at 500 ultimate, you're sitting at 35 seconds of Major Aegis, you and your group. 400 ultimate is 28 seconds, 300 is 21 seconds, 250 is 18 seconds, and then 200 ultimate is about 15 seconds. So yeah, it's pretty insane. This actually, it's a long buff. It's actually really good. And I highly recommend looking at getting this set if you want to do some, you know, some dungeon type stuff and maybe even pug or help out your group in some way, in a defensive way. Now this setup I would pretty much only run if I had a kind of shitty healer or no healer at all. This setup works really well. As far as like the traits and enchants go, infused pieces, which are your head, chest, legs, and shield. I like those infused with a Tri-Stat enchant on there. I just haven't got around to it because of geodes. And then the small pieces, if you block a lot, run sturdy. If you do not block a lot, you can run well fitted on all these. Or if you do a little bit of both, do 2 sturdy, 2 well fitted. Again, all healthy enchants here, and then Tri-Stat on the big pieces. So our second set is Twilight Remedy. And you're probably thinking like, what the hell? Well, it recently got buffed. Okay, so it used to only heal for like 12k or 15k. Now it's healing for 32k over 15 seconds. So what happens? So if you have Twilight Remedy on, you throw a synergy, somebody hits that synergy, and they heal for 32k over 15 seconds. You know how disgusting that's going to be in PvP? Anyways, PvE, that's so gross, dude. That's so much health. Well, anyways, if you look at some of your abilities, some of them have some stuff you can proc. And what I like to run is I like to throw on an orb. Sometimes I like throwing on Blood Altar. Why is there an orb on my back bar? So like your CC, most of the time, whatever your CC is, you can activate a synergy, which you can on Necro. And then, Energy Orb, you can also throw that down. You have Blood Altar, you have Bone Shield. Like, you have many options that you could use to have at least 2 or 3 of these synergies going off, and it's absolutely insane. I did it on the PTS. If you guys were watching on the 1st or 2nd week of August, whenever the PTS went live, you could see that's what I was running on some of those runs. I was running Twilight because it was so disgusting. It was healing everybody. It was just badass. Okay. So we have Arcane here. We have all mag recovery. I like to keep everything pretty much the same. That way I can kind of mess with my attributes. And as you can see, there's not many things that give, Twilight doesn't give you any health. It just basically gives you mag recovery. So I just kept it as mag since I already get health from automatons. And the stam, I just kind of want to pump more points into that. That's why I have my attributes the way they are. As far as the staff, we have Infuse. Again, the enchants are up to you. Crusher enchant, Weakening enchant on the back bar, totally up to you. I would recommend one of those two. As far as the shield goes, we have Sturdy. Infuse is good. Sturdy is good. Well fitted, reinforced, whatever you want to run. Tri-stat enchant here will work really well. You'll be at like 400 per resource. As far as the one-hander, Decisive's good, Defending's good, Powered's good. Powered would work really good in this spot. But yeah, totally up to you, whatever you want to run. Enchants on your one-handed bar. Up to you. If you suck at managing your mag, throw up some Magicka Drain enchants. Same thing with Stam. If you suck at maintaining Stam, throw a Stam sustain enchant on there. Totally up to you. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the the last build, right? Yeah, the defensive plus damage buff set. Okay, so now we have 500 ultimate. Let's go ahead and see where we're at. Again, we're running Jorvolds with automatons, and you'll get to see. Look, this thing is absolutely insane. So here's the ultimate now. As you can see, 48 seconds of Major Aegis, dude. That is absolutely insane, dude. Now, yes, you can par Jorvolds with other sets like War Machine and stuff like that and buff that, and that will buff War Machine to 48 seconds, giving your group 5 other members Major Slayer, Major Aegis, whatever you want to do. And that's why we're running automatons to kind of help buff your group in a defensive way. This setup is absolutely disgusting. Alright, so now we're looking at the damage and defensive buff setup, okay? So 37 points into here. Okay, we already have 22 points into here. Let's go ahead and throw the 27 into here, so we're at 18. Okay, so let's go ahead and buff up. We do have 18k Magicka, 37k health, 22k stem. We're at 1300 Magicka and health. That's with the pot up. We are running the Lord. We do have Bewitched Sugar Skull. We are running the tri-stat pots, which I highly recommend to do so. All right, so the gear. You're looking at Engine Guardian. What I'll do is I'll go over the sets per section, armor, jewelry, weapons, and then I'll go over what enchants and traits I would like per each. And since this is the last one, I'll immediately go into the CP, and I'll talk about the skills a little bit. All right, so the first set, Engine Guardian. If you want to help out your group a little bit more, I would consider going Symphony of Blades. Works really well. If you block a lot, go Stonekeepers. If you don't block a lot, 110% go Engine Guardian. Our first set is going to be Automaton's Defense. What it does is whenever you use your ultimate, the closest 5 members of your group within 28 meters will gain Major Aegis for 1 second per 14 ultimates spent. This will reduce the damage they take and you take from dungeon trials and arena monsters by 15%. That's actually pretty big. It buffs your group quite a bit in a defensive way. So let's just go ahead and talk about the ulti costs. I'll just say the ulti and then how many seconds. So 500 ultimate, you're looking at 35 seconds of Major Aegis. 400, 28 seconds. 300, 21 seconds. 250, 18 seconds. 200, 15 seconds. All right. So yeah, it's pretty disgusting. So with that being said, what I like to do is my big pieces, which are my head, chest, legs, and shield. I like to do infused with a tri-stat enchant on there. It's absolutely insane. It buffs. You'll see these stats get buffed up quite a bit. The smaller pieces, if you block a lot, go all sturdy. If you don't block a lot, well fitted is really good. If you do a little bit of combination of both, do 2 sturdy, 2 well fitted, it works really well. That's what I would do. Healthy on the small pieces, and then obviously tri-stat on the big pieces. The second set is going to be War Machine. These sets come from Hoff, Veteran Halls of Fabrication. I know I forgot to do that on the other 2 videos, but I'll put that down in the description down below on where these sets come from. But War Machine, it does the same thing as Automated, right? So whenever you pop an ultimate, the closest 5 members of your group within 28 meters will gain Major Slayer for 1 second per 14 ultimates spent, increasing their damage done to dungeon trials and arena monsters by 15%. If you were in stream today, August 24th, 2020, you would have seen me run this setup and this entire setup right here, and you would have seen some crazy damage go out. It's absolutely insane. So again, I'll read the ultimate and then how many seconds. So you're looking at 500 ultimate at 35 seconds of Major Slayer. 400 ultimates 28 seconds, 300 is 21, 250 is 18 seconds, 200 ultimate is 15 seconds. Absolutely insane. I like to keep my traits robust, pretty much the same, and then do mag recovery just so I can have that extra mag recovery there. As far as weapons go, the staff is charged, but I personally like infuse with the crusher or weakening enchant there, just to kind of keep debuffing that ad or boss or whichever one I'm focusing. The shield, we have sturdy. Again, sturdy, well fitted, reinforced, infused. All those pieces are good. Infused, I would like here with a tri-stat, but that's just me. As far as the weapon goes here, powered is also really good. Power, defending, decisive. All 3 of those traits are really good. As far as the enchant goes here, it's totally up to you. If you suck at maintaining stam here, do a stam restore. If you suck at maintaining magicka, do magicka restore or drain or whatever it is. That's what I would do on your front bar. Or if you notice that your mag is never going down but your stam's always going down too much, throw on the stam absorb, and I promise you'll like it. So with that being said, that is all the builds that I have. I actually have one more build that I'm going to do, but it's going to be in a separate build video because it takes a little bit more time to do. Oh, it actually doesn't take more time to do this entire video. I think this video is going to end up being like 35 minutes long, but the next build is going to be a medium armor, and these 2 should be uploaded the 25th of August. And we'll talk about that here in a second. Let's go ahead and talk about let's go over the skills right quick. And I'm just going to go over the gist of them because these builds will 110% work with any class that you have. It is not restricted to a Necro. It's not restricted to a DK or Nightblade or Templar or anything. It is 100% builds that will work for any class. These 4 builds will work with any class. Now, as far as the skills go, I'm going to go over the majority of what you should have on your bar, right? So like a taunt, gain ultimate, a heal, stuff like that. That's what I'm going to go over, so you can choose which class that you want to choose. So if you want to play on a DK, you'll have similar setups in the same way, right? Or if you're a warden or whatever, you'll have similar setup. So first things first, your melee taunt. If you have no way to gain minor protection, which is on this skill right here, you definitely want to go ransack to get that minor protection. Okay. Other than that, you can, because the healer that runs with you, because most of you guys will have healers, should have Ellie Drain on. If they don't, then they need to reevaluate themselves as a healer and put Ellie Drain on. Or if they're a Templar healer, then they'll have that, not Repentance, the other morph, the one that where you hit it, anything within 28 meters is affected by Ellie Drain, the Magicka Steel. But Ellie Drain, your healers should have it. Most of the time they should. Pierce Armor, really good, does major fracture and breach, but if you don't have minor protection, do Ransack. And then you're going to have some heal on your bar, whatever your spammable heal is going to be, or your, oh shit, I got to heal, that's going to go here. Your flex spot is going to go here, whatever that can be. Obviously, they don't have to be in order like this. They just have to be somewhere on your bar, on both your, either way on your bars, right? So your flex spot, which can be anything. And then again, depending on what class you have, your flex spot here. I personally like to run this as my, if you're trying to run like a Necro tank, this is exactly what I run. 100% of the time, this is what I run. So we have our melee taunt, our heal. We have our hot heal, which also increases our healing done. And then we have our damagement here. That's what I like to run here. If you have something that will do like a damagement or sustain or whatever, you could run here. But if you don't have anything, it's flex spots here. It's these two. This guy looks ugly as hell. What the hell? Okay, so heroic / here. This is mainly for the minor heroism. Obviously, minor maime's good. But the minor heroism is really good to kind of keep popping those ultis, because most of the setups that we have here are all for ulti, popping that ulti at 500. Our next one is going to be your most spammable ulti, usually on the front bar, unless you run something like barrier, and then if you have 10 support or whatever, you can throw barrier on your front bar. That's going to be a 10% for each ability slotted. So if I had barrier here, I'd have 10% extra mag recovery. Then you can throw the ultimate on your back bar. Excuse me. All right, so now we're going to the back bar. Back bar, I like to have range taunt, which is going to be your inner rage. And then I personally like to have balance on my back bar. Excuse me. I personally like to have balance on my back bar. Again, it's up to you. You can have whatever class major resolve you want on your bar. I just personally like balance because it's so much. I feel like it's better. I have 30 seconds of major resolve, and every time I hit it, I get Magicka back. So it's just really, really good. And then we have Wall of Elements. Now, this back bar is pretty much not going to change for anybody, right? Or at least these first 3 skills. So you're going to have Blockade. Blockade's going to increase. It's going to proc your ultimate. And if you have it leveled up all the way at 14 seconds, that's going to make your enchant proc 3 times. So then we're going to look at our CC here. Again, the Blockade, if you run Lightning Staff, it can off balance ads and bosses. Ice Staff will slow them down. So we're looking at Agony Totem, which is our CC. This is the best one that I could find for the Necro, which is going to be a minor protection in there. And then it's also going to Fear the Ads, which is going to do some little crowd control. It's going to keep them in one spot for quite a bit. And then it also, if somebody activates the synergy, bam, minor vulnerability. So this ability right here is just really, really good. And then whatever CC you have as the class that you are in. If you do not have a CC like Templars, you could put something else here. That would be your flex spot. Silver Leash. This is going to be your chain pull. And you could do, I mean, if you're not a DK or a Warden using the Frozen thing, you're more than likely going to have Silver Leash here. And that's going to just pull the ads to you. You're going to want that in majority of the dungeons and a majority of the fights too, just so you can kind of pull ads quickly to you. As far as your back bar goes, if you are not running the barrier on your front bar to get that 10% mag recovery, on the back bar, what you are going to run is the defensive ulti. As a Necro, you're probably going to run renewing animation. If you run with a lot of people that die a lot, run that. If you don't, then run the Goliath, right? Whatever ultimate that may be. Templars can run Novas. Wardens can run trees. DKs can run magmas. Sorks can run like negates. Whatever that can be. So that's probably what I would run. So that's how I set up my bars as far as like tanks go. Let's go ahead and look at our CP. So now we're looking at the CP. We're looking at the red tree. I like to do 81 or 72 ironclad. Totally up to you. Whatever you want to put more points into. 13 spell shield. If you put 72 points here, throw some points in the spell shield, and then throw some in the heavy armor if you want. We have 49 hardy, 49 LE defender, 40 thick skin. If you go into a dungeon that has a lot of dots and you want some help mitigating that, you can throw some more points into thick skin however you see fit. If you want to take some points out of ironclad and throw some in there, totally up to you. Or take the points out of quick recovery, which I have 23 in, and then 15 in the heavy armor focus. Totally up to you how you want to do that setup. I'm just kind of giving you a rough draft on what I run. 19 in the sprinter. Again, if you don't sprint a lot as a tank, take these points out and don't put anything in here. Again, if you do though, if you do level up anything, alchemy or provisioning or anything, put 30 points into this so you can get the inspiration boost. You'll put 30 points into one of these, and then it'll give you this passive. So again, if you don't sprint a lot, you could take 19 points out of that. Put some points in the tenacity if you want, or put some in the tumbling, depending on which one you do more. Tenacity, if you heavy attack a lot, definitely going to want a pretty decent amount in here. I started lowering this. I actually lowered this all the way down to like, I think it was like 20 or 30 or something like that. And I didn't, you could tell the difference, but it wasn't dramatic. But 56 in here, 64 if you want, more return, or go all the way up to like 75 or 72, whatever it is. 75 Arcanus, because you're always going to need that mag recovery on a tank. It just helps out a lot. Tumbling, I have 48 here. Again, if you have 19 on sprinter and you're like, you know what, I don't actually sprint that much, you can put in here with tumbling, which would make it 67 points into here. And then just make sure that you want to put that into a whole number where it says reduce the cost of road dodge by 18.24%. It does not count the 0.24%, by the way. It only counts whatever the large number is. So 18%, you'll only have 18%. If it says 18.99%, it will still only be 18%. So again, 67 points in here if you want to. That way you can dodge roll quite a bit as well. 72 in the Shadow Ward. I put points into here just because there are a lot of times where I block Veteran Kind's Ages, you know, whatever. I can't really think of any dungeons right now because it's like 2:30 in the morning, but there's quite a few dungeons that I hold block in continuously on certain boss fights. Moonhunter Keep, that's one, last boss. Hold block quite a bit on that. But yeah, it helps out quite a bit. So kind of up to you how you want to organize your CP. Again, I'm just giving you a rough draft. You go. I'm basically giving you, you know, a painting of whatever. You know, I'm giving you a drawing, and you color it how you see fit. Okay, that's how this is. I'm giving you a color book, and I'm giving you some crowns. You color it however you want. We got 75 in the Blessed, 61 in the Elfborn, excuse me. Again, I run this, and then usually I'll put 120 points in the here for the Tactician. Tactician is whenever you dodge roll an enemy attack or enemies attack, like multiple enemies, you will set them off balance if they're eligible to. So you have a chance to do that. It's actually really, really good. The reason I have 100 into LE Expert, 2 into Spell Erosion, and then 32 into Mighty is because Mighty buffs Leeching from the first set that we were talking about in the video, and Elemental Expert buffs Mariah's Curse in the first build that we were talking about in the video. So those two proc off of each, or those two buff each other. Or, excuse me, Elemental Expert buffs that, blah, 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 right? You get it? And then we have 75 points in the Blast. I usually don't go any over that. If you're not ever going to run Briar's Curse, or you just kind of want just that little bit extra healing and stuff, take the points out of Elemental Expert and Mighty. Pump these up to 100 here, and then just kind of put them, you know, a few here and here. You won't get the Tactician if you do that. If you do 100 here and here, but it's totally up to you. I recommend going 75 Blessed, you know, maybe 72 Elfborn or 61 there, and then putting 120 points in the here, because at some point in time you do dodge roll as a tank, and when you do, it's kind of nice when you off balance it. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit longer. Again, down in the description below there will be some timestamps there, and hopefully you guys will actually check that out. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.